Meghan Markle, she's still pushing ahead with her Netflix series, but she's being warned that her With Love Meghan series may actually be coming to an end after a series of...
It never begins with breaking news. It never starts with a bold headline or a whistleblower stepping onto a stage. No, scandals like this slip in sideways, quietly, like a secret crawling through the dark until it can't hide anymore. It all began with one post, a blurry screenshot uploaded at 2:13 a.m., a spreadsheet, one cell circled in red, no caption, no context, just a number that didn't belong. And that number was linked to something Meghan had always sworn was transparent: her foundation. For a while it was nothing, just another late-night rumor, ignored by most, swallowed by the noise of the internet.
Views. What are your thoughts on the series? Do we think it's going to come to an end soon?
Look, there becomes a point when you do rural commentary like me and you have to watch this stuff. So I actually had to watch the...
But then someone looked closer. A second account reposted it, cleaned it up, and sharpened the red circle. Beneath it, a name jumped out: Channel 4B, discretionary transfers. Nobody knew what that meant, but something about it felt off. Too neat, too rehearsed, too polished. And that's when curiosity became suspicion. Within minutes, online detectives began zooming in, enhancing the image, and checking its metadata.
Nauseating, it is basic, this is an advent calendar. You put little treats in the pockets. I mean, honestly, Meghan is so dumbed down in this. She's so ever smart.
What they found made the air turn cold. The file didn't match any public report. It matched an internal audit. One Meghan's own team once claimed didn't even exist. And the internet? It smelled blood. When the panic began, it didn't start quietly. Meghan's team vanished from sight. One insider later whispered that phones started ringing before sunrise. Lawyers were summoned before coffee. This wasn't supposed to leak, one text read. Just 7 words.
Unauthentic, and Naomi Osaka, who is a guest on the show, it's someone she clearly has no relationship with. It's incredibly awkward.
But enough to light the whole thing on fire. Leaks don't scare professionals, unless it's a leak they didn't know about. And then the strangest thing happened. The screenshot began to disappear. Deleted from the original post, flagged on mirrors, vanished from threads. Too late. Copies had already spread across platforms like wildfire, and that's when a reporter dropped a small but deadly detail. The FBI had quietly logged the file for preliminary review. No announcement, no statement, just action. And action from the FBI never happens without reason. Most people missed that clue. Meghan's camp didn't. If they logged it, they saw something, whispered a source close to her team. And just like that, the story wasn't gossip anymore. It was a problem. A problem big enough to crack Meghan's carefully built world. When the screenshot vanished, people should have moved on. But instead, they asked the question that changed everything. Who has the power to make something disappear from everywhere at once? By morning, a clearer, high-resolution copy of the file surfaced. Channel 4B still glared from the page, but this time, something new appeared beneath it. A blacked-out line, thick with redaction bars. The kind used by government agencies, not charities. And that one oddity flipped the temperature. Why would a charity use redactions like that? Someone zoomed in and found the faint tail of a word under the blackout. Maybe payments, maybe settlements. It didn't matter. The internet had found its mystery, and it was about to dig. Then a user posted what they claimed was an older version of the same audit. No redactions, no blackouts, just one clean phrase: confidential allocations, pending review. And the timestamp? Weeks earlier than the redacted version. Redactions don't appear by themselves. Someone added them, and whoever did it after the original was made. Meghan's team denied it immediately, calling it misinformation. But their denial came too fast, too smooth, too rehearsed. Then came the whisper, or frantic overnight calls to old contractors, people who hadn't worked with Meghan in years. One journalist tweeted, if the redactions appeared after the audit, they weren't for privacy. They were for protection. Protection from what? The whispers turned into tremors. A mid-level consultant chimed in on a private finance forum. The redacted style matched active external review protocols. In plain English, that meant outside eyes, possibly federal. Suddenly, everyone remembered the FBI note. Theories exploded. Did Meghan's team know the feds were looking? Did they edit the document after it was logged? And then, the final blow. The unredacted file's metadata didn't match Meghan's network. It came from a different author, a different device, a different place. Someone outside her circle still had receipts. By sunrise, the internet was an investigation zone. Users comparing versions, cross-referencing timestamps, and whispering one word again and again. Why? That's when an anonymous account appeared on a compliance forum, claiming to be a former consultant for Meghan's foundation. Their post was short. I've seen the original audit. This isn't the full picture. And just like that, silence broke into storm. They slowly revealed what they knew. The audit had been rushed, with weird side channels and one handwritten note. 4B risk. Risk. That one word made everyone shiver. As Meghan's PR team scrambled, reporters began to notice something else. The timeline didn't match her public statements. One expert wrote, "If the consultant's right, this leak doesn't expose fabrication. It exposes evolution." Meaning, the documents didn't just change, they grew teeth. Then another specialist posted a side-by-side comparison. The second audit added 3 cryptic internal codes used to shift money across borders, the kind meant to stay invisible. While her defenders tried to call it normal restructuring, the pattern screamed something else. Someone was trying to hide movement, and then, the whisper that froze the thread, there was someone else in the room. 3 names emerged. 3 people who'd been there during the audit. Nobody accused anyone directly. They didn't need to. The tension said it all. Then came the quiet bombshell. A journalist claimed one of those 3 had already spoken to investigators. Moments later, reports surfaced. The FBI's cyber financial unit had asked a data host to preserve files related to Meghan's foundation. No subpoenas, no raids, just preservation. But insiders knew what that meant. They only preserve data when they believe they'll need it later. Inside Meghan's camp, chaos. If they preserve, we're already too late, one message leaked. And that's when the spiral began. A pattern emerged. Small transactions just under the reporting threshold. Not once or twice, but repeatedly. A forensic accountant said flatly, "Either this is the sloppiest bookkeeping I've ever seen, or someone was moving money on purpose." And the FBI doesn't preserve sloppy bookkeeping. Emails began leaking. One from a staffer asking about a 4B transfer. The reply? "Follow the template. Do not annotate. Do not annotate," meaning, don't leave a trail. Another message surfaced. Amounts don't align with outreach spending. The response came instantly. "It's handled externally. Do not revise. Handled externally." 3 words that shook every newsroom, then a third email. Reminder, 4B routing follows confidential clearance. Confidential clearance, a phrase that belongs in spy files, not charity accounts. Analysts confirmed the emails were authentic. The headers matched the foundation's old servers. And when a nervous voice note from a former staffer leaked, you could hear the guilt. "I didn't understand why we had to hide things. It just felt wrong. They told me I didn't need the full picture." That wasn't anger. That was fear. And while Meghan's PR tried to spin it as forged correspondence, a legal expert crushed the defense in one line. "This isn't sloppy bookkeeping. It's controlled opacity." Controlled opacity, the kind of phrase that could bury reputations. Then came the most chilling discovery. The vanished insider, the one everyone had been hunting, wasn't just anyone. They were the macro custodian, the person responsible for Meghan's internal financial software. They had the power to edit, approve, or block every automated transfer. When an anonymous account dropped a new file, 4B_framework.xlsm, analysts held their breath. It wasn't a spreadsheet. It was a system, preset transfers, hidden triggers, routes designed to keep every amount just below regulatory radar. Some macros had ordinary names like vendor_auto_calc, but others, safe limit override, split route ENT, 4B override. Those aren't errors, those are instructions. And the metadata proved the macros had been updated recently. Someone had kept them alive. A financial engineer said it best, "This isn't accounting, this is avoidance." And once again, the vanished insider's name surfaced. The same person listed as macro custodian. They had raised concerns before and been ignored. Now, it wasn't suspicion anymore. It was proof. As Meghan's team released yet another denial, claiming bad actors were manipulating data, another expert posted checksum evidence showing the workbook matched archived server copies from 2 separate years. The file was real. Then someone noticed a tiny line buried in the workbook metadata, compliance review pending external confirmation 4B. External confirmation. It meant they expected oversight and planned for it. And right when that discovery spread, the FBI's involvement stopped being rumor. A reporter confirmed agents were now asking follow-up questions about the foundation's structure. No drama, just quiet verification. But when the FBI asks, they're not curious. They're preparing. Soon after, a former staffer came forward through a lawyer. Their statement wasn't theatrical, just tired and specific. They described being told not to question inconsistencies in 4B, not to alter routing templates, not to ask why things didn't add up. It wasn't accusation, it was confession. While that statement broke hearts, investigators uncovered another locked sheet inside the workbook. Archive routes, password protected. Why would a charity need an archive of routing patterns unless someone was tracking them? Then, the ripple that ended the guessing game. A journalist revealed that the FBI had officially requested timeline mapping of external authorizations connected to 4B. One legal analyst explained, "They're reconstructing intent, and intent, not error, is what makes it criminal." Suddenly, Meghan's team went silent. No statements, no tweets, nothing. Silence. the kind that speaks louder than denial. Then came the last blow. Someone leaked a memo, short, clinical, and deadly. It was titled Operational Sensitivity 4B. The final line read, "Ensure all external confirmations remain off record until inquiries cease. Not until clarified, not until resolved, until they stop asking. That's not policy, that's concealment." Experts tore it apart within hours. "This isn't guidance," one former DOJ official said. "It's containment, and containment means damage control." The timing couldn't have been worse. Within a day, the FBI released a brief official note confirming the preliminary review had escalated into an active assessment. No more whispers, it was real. Meghan's PR team tried to fight back with their longest statement yet. 3 paragraphs of polished denial and victimhood, but the world had already made up its mind. The memo stripped away all doubt. Her supporters grew quiet. Even loyal fans hesitated, because written instructions don't lie, and buried memos don't hide themselves. Meanwhile, sympathy shifted, not toward Meghan, but toward the exhausted staffers who'd followed orders they didn't understand. Then the final twist, the memo wasn't just linked to the scandal. Metadata proved it had once been attached to the 4B framework file and later deleted in an update. Someone hadn't just written it, they'd tried to bury it. And burial is not the act of innocence. The question echoing through every newsroom now wasn't if there was a cover-up. It was how deep it went. Because when you strip away the glamour, the PR, and the noise, one thing remains clear. The 4B audit wasn't a rumor, it wasn't a misunderstanding, it was a system. And the system finally spoke.